Good day, viewers. My name is Limba Mupetami. Welcome to the Sport Rep Show. Well, this weekend we have rugby on the table. The Debmarine Premiership kicks off and there is going to be horse racing action in Gobabis as well. Well, more detailed information coming up, so let's head into the hit list. The Debmarine Namibia Premiership kicks off on Sunday at Dr Hage Geingob Stadium. The first match of the league will be between African Stars and UNAM at 5 o'clock. Great news, of course, for people who have been waiting for the league to start. Now, the Aminuis Horse Racing Club expects horses to fire on all cylinders at the Debmarine Namibia Gobabis Summer Derby this coming Saturday. Debmarine has pledged a sponsorship of 250,000, which will be used to host the event. This is going to be one of the best events we have had in a while, Edison Sharamba of Aminuis Horse Racing said. Well, registration for Numbred was $300 and $400 for the thoroughbred played. Well, of course, registrations have already taken place and the horses are geared to go. You know, the imported horse registration fee cost about $800. Now, the return of the Okahanje Racing Club Stalile is back on the scene and is expected to drive a large crowd to the racetrack on Saturday in the Debmarine Namibia sponsored racing event. Fans are therefore urged to turn up in numbers. That takes us to a break. Right after, in the pipeline segment of the show will follow, so don't move an inch. On to rugby news. The Dr Hage Geingob Stadium will tomorrow host the Dr Hage Geingob Cup trophy. That, of course, is the Geingob Cup rugby match between Welwitschias of Namibia and the Tafel Lager Griquas. The match is slated to kick off at 4 o'clock. Gates will already open at 10 o'clock for the early movers. Now, this match is a build-up to next year's France World Cup. We caught up with Dr Kutsia, the head coach of the Welwitschias. Check this out right after we jump into the Your Take segment of today's show.
Right, so we are with the Namibia coach Dr Kutsia. So Dr, preparing for a match against Griquas. So on the playing field we can see that you have a lot of depth and a lot of some exciting players to work with. What are your feelings?
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here in Namibia and in Windhoek in particular to prepare for a game against Griquas. It's really exciting times. Obviously, this is in preparation for the tour to Spain and Amsterdam, where we will play Canada. It's great to have and to see the boys after the July qualifying rounds. We played in front, so it's really great to be back as a group again. And we have our best possible squad, by 3 or 4 players like Dr Kutsia, Torsten van Jaarsveld and the captain Johan Dijssel. They're not with us and they'll join with the team in Europe. So exciting times and preparations are going well at the moment, so really pleased.
So like you mentioned, the tour coming up, which is of course very important, but then also this match standalone against Griquas. What are your feelings around that?
Yeah, look, every match we play and time we spend together, we have to make it count. We've got 11 months to the World Cup next year, and time flies. So whenever we get together as a group, it's crucial that we prepare well, that we improve as a team. So Saturday is one of those building blocks, in terms of our preparation for World Cup. So it's important for the boys to step up, and I've got no doubt that they look forward to the opportunity to perform well. And yes, I'm looking to to forward to a good game where we have all our like I say, building blocks in place, good set piece, good liner, good scrum, and hold our own there and make sure that we score tries and take opportunities.
So we know that it looks like Namibia will be playing in the Currie Cup or in the South African competition again next year with our locally based players. So do you also see this as a test for what our depth is going to be like for looking forward to next year?
100%, and it's just not only next year. I think that is short-sighted. We're actually also working on the next cycle, 2027, therefore competitions like Craven Week, competitions like the Under-20 competition in South Africa, and the Currie Cup, you know, the first division. It's all competitions that we need to play, that we need to get sort of opportunity to grow as players and to build the depth going forward, you know. I think the union have done well to engage with SA Rugby, to be allowed back in those competitions. Fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to the planning and to be working with the local coaches and make sure we feel good teams going forward.
Local boxing promoter and trainer Emmanuel Ace Moses has geared his boxer Zakaria Desert Storm Lucas for an epic clash coming up this month on the 12th of November. Well, this is a recap interview with Moses right after we head to a special rugby segment of today's show. Stay tuned. So Desert Storm, 12th of November, he's going to be fighting in Cleveland against Raymond Ford. When did you guys find out about the fight?
We actually found out about this fight 3 weeks before we start with the training camp. But even though before that, Desert Storm been training already, because he always stays in the gym and just to work on his boxing skills. And of course, Martin been working on him and trying to work on his strength and conditioning. Yeah, so we actually had enough time for this fight, and I think it's an advantage to us, even though they really didn't want to take this fight. So we have other options that came up. There was even a world title option, which fell out because they feel Desert Storm was more dangerous for a voluntary defense. So they end up fighting somebody else. So then when we get this fight, when Scott contacted me and Sean and said, no, there's this Raymond Ford fight for the WBA America title. And I think Desert Storm need to take this fight because it's more of the two top 10 fighting each other. So Raymond ranked number 8, Desert Storm number 12. So which will make the two of them to move to number 1 spot, or just to be in a better position for them to fight for the World Championship.
All right, so how is training been going? How is Desert Storm feeling at the moment?
No, Desert Storm is always a guy who is confident and always feel ready, and he always gonna tell you that I was born ready. So training been going well. So we have Indongo, we have Special One. If you look at Rayford, then you look at the boxing style of Special One, I think they are more similar to each other. And I think same age group as well. So same hunger in them. So it really gives Desert Storm a good preparation. Him spar with Special One, giving him all those different looks, and also with Indongo to come in with the reach and the size, just for him to be able to go to war. And I'm looking forward for a knockout, like I said before, because this is what we really need. We know where we are fighting. We are fighting in the United States. With all the judges not going to be on our side. And of course, obvious, the favorite is Rayford, because he's fighting under the zone. So we're going there as an opponent. We know the position where we are right now. So we really need to go there and dish it out. And just show the world that Desert Storm is a world-class fighter. Just the same thing he did when he showed to Nyambayo in New Jersey, where they declared the fight at law, even though we dropped Nyambayo. So meaning this time around, we are going for stoppage.
All right, so looking at Desert Storm, January, I believe, was the last time he fought. He was in the ring. Any kind of rustiness, maybe, would you say? And also just speaking about who is he sparring with in detail.
When it's actually come to rustiness, at his age, you know, when you're at that level, you don't really happen to fight more than 3 times a year. You rather fight once or twice, but you stay active by being in the gym. And of course, we always keep him busy by sparring with these young kids. And of course, he's always active. He's not really rusty, but come fight night, of course, Desert Storm gonna show the world. And of course, in terms of sparring, like I said before, he's been sparring Special One, he's been sparring Julius Indongo. So those are the guys that have been preparing him. So, and I'm also taking Indongo with, just to keep Desert Storm on the feet when you are in the United States for that week. So we had a very great training camp, and we are looking forward to Victoria come November 12th in Cleveland, Ohio. We're going to shut it down.
Okay, 12th of November is not very far away. Maybe just in detail, what are just some of the small things that you guys are now doing just to tighten up and make sure that Stormy is perfect and ready for this fight?
Of course, we've been working on his weight, and the weight look good. So we still have I think from now on we have 10 days probably before the fight. So we look good, we're in shape, we're ready, so we're ready to go. So Sunday morning we're departing to the United States, so via South Africa, and then we go to Atlanta, then it will be 2 hours from Atlanta to Cleveland, Ohio. So DAZN, watch out on Desert Storm, on any other network. I think Desert Storm being one of the big stars in Namibia because he's been fighting on all the big networks. First he fought on Fox when he fought on the undercard of Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia. Then he fought on Showtime, now he's fighting on DAZN. So he was already scheduled to fight on ESPN when he's supposed to fight Jesse Magdarino. So he is one of the world-class fighters when it comes to the fighters in Namibia. And of course, he's a hard worker, and he always go there and show it all.
Okay, now speaking about AC Boxing, some of the highlights that you have had this year, perhaps?
I think AC Promotion, we've been the most active promotion in the country. International, because remember that we don't have a sponsor to host a lot of fights, but even though that we managed to host 2 fights already, and we have another fight coming up on the 19th of November where we have our own special one fighting for the WBA Pan Africa in the super featherweight division against Dodana Ngubes. That fight will be on the 19th of November. So we're going to the state for 12th November. We'll be back on the 13th, be here in Namibia on the 14th, and get back to the office to make sure that the event on the 19th take place at the Nampo Convention. So in terms of international, if you look, we had more than 15 fights outside the country. Indongo been participating outside, Meroro, Chihepo, the list go on and on. So we have a lot of fights outside. So our connection outside is really very well. And we just want to keep it that way by being disciplined and also just being honest to our partners overseas. And I want to thank my partners like Scott Ferreira, Sean Gibson of Many Park Promotion. So those are my partners that I work with. That's why you see we have a very good relationship, and that benefit our fighters here in the country.
Okay, so just last words to the fans that are of course expecting Storm to win. What would your message be?
The message is actually for them to tune in on DAZN. If you don't have the app, you can download it on your phone. You'll be able to watch the fight live. And of course, NBC can also get in touch with us, where we can probably try to see how we can get the fight to be shown on NBC. Then the nation can watch, because this is the biggest fight for Namibian boxing at the moment. And of course, at this time of the year, we're going to close the year with a bang by having this big fight on big platform, DAZN, WBA, so getting Desert Storm close to the world title, fighting an undefeated 12-0 Ray Ford. And of course, Desert Storm, he's been there, he know what it takes. Of course, we just need to go there and show up. And for the nation, just keep this guy in play for the Namibian boxers to win, be full supportive. And of course, us from my side, we're just gonna make sure that we create a platform for our fighters to participate and show their talent overseas.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Across that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Sharab Khan and Iftikhar Ahmed smashed rather exciting half-centuries before Pakistan's bowlers completed a comprehensive and well-deserved DLS assisted victory by 33 runs against South Africa in the T20 World Cup match at the SCG on Thursday. Pakistan recovered from an early collapse to 43 for 4 against South Africa's pace bowlers to post an impressive total of 185 for 9 after choosing to bat first, with Shadab blasting 52 from just 22 balls, the second fastest T20I 50 for his country, while Iftikhar was barely less aggressive with 51 from 35 balls with 3 fours and 2 sixes. It was a must-win game for Pakistan, who would have been eliminated from the semi-final contention if they had lost, whereas South Africa are still likely to qualify for the semi-finals provided their final match against the Netherlands is not rained off and they win it convincingly. That ends the cricket segment. Up next is Ari Hogard with international news in Globetrotting.
I'm gonna cross that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news. Lots happening in the world of sport, and starting off with tennis news. Two big tournaments being played on the men's and the women's side of the ATP and the WTA. Firstly, the ATP, that's the men's tournament. It's the Paris Masters taking place at the moment. News from the tournament earlier in the week was that Rafael Nadal fell out earlier in the round, actually in the first round, so he's out of the tournament. Indications is that he's still going to play in the finals, the ATP finals that will be in Turin in a few weeks' time. But news from the tournament is that the number 4 seed, actually, Novak Djokovic, he's through to the quarterfinals, and he had a comprehensive, quite an easy win against Karen Khachanov of Russia, 6-4 and 6-1 he won. And Novak Djokovic back to good form again. He's a 21-time major or Grand Slam winner. 35 years old now, but he won this tournament in 2019 and also in 2021. He will play either Casper Ruud or Lorenzo Musetti in the quarterfinals. They yet to play their semi-final or their round of 16 game. And then it is Carlos Alcaraz. He's the number 1 seed, also the world number 1. He's safely through also to the quarterfinals. He beat Grigor Dimitrov. He beat him very convincingly by 6-1 and 6-3. In the quarterfinals, he's awaiting either Andrei Rublev or Holger Rune. They still need to play their round of 16 game as well. So that's the ATP Paris Masters. It's a ATP Thousands tournament. On the women's side of the world of tennis, it's the WTA finals. That's a big tournament, a year-ending tournament always. That is the 8 best players of the year competing there. News from the tournament is world number 1 that is through to the next round or through to the semi-finals. That is Iga Swiatek. She is through to the semi-finals because she beat Caroline Garcia of France. She beat her by 6-3 and 6-2. And still to be confirmed who she's going to play in the semi-finals. final. It could either be Daria Casastina. She is one of the players that is on the forefront, and she beat Daria Casastina, beat Coco Gauff of the USA, and that was by 7-6 and 6-3. On to some golf news, and lots happening on the DP World Tour. That is the old European Golf Tour, and they've increased the guarantees for the next season for the players. Of course, that is because of the threat of the Live Golf initiative that got lots of momentum the past few months. So the DP World Tour announced that there will be guarantees for players. That means that if you play 15 tournaments in the season, you're guaranteed to at least earn $150,000. The total prize money for the season for 2023 also increased majorly, quite significantly. It's $144 that will be the total money that will play for in the 2023 season. Live Golf Initiative, they done for the year for all their tournaments. They're going to have 23 tournaments in the 2023 season, and lots of money at stake. Still 48 players that will qualify for those tournaments, and there's talk that there will be 4 players from the world top 15 that will join the tour in the new year. Going on to football, soccer news real quickly. It's a FIFA World Cup coming up on the 20th of November, and it was FIFA that wrote to the 32 nations that is competing at the World Cup and said to them they must focus on soccer. That's a big statement to make. It's because of Qatar is not known for a good human rights record, and specifically on the same-sex relationships. It's already indicated that Harry Kane of England said that he will wear the One Love armbands in the tournament. So the tournament starts on the 20th of November. Just to close off today's international sports news, Sunday we'll see big games in the T20 World Cup, and that is, of course, that we already spoke about, is South Africa that will play the Netherlands in a must-win game, but also important game for Pakistan. They will play against Bangladesh, and in the third game in that group it is Zimbabwe that will play against India. So that's the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day and a great sport weekend, and we talk again on Monday. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Ari. And of course, that's it, folks. Catch us again on Monday, brand new show. Remember, go and watch rugby at the Dr Hage Geingob Stadium. That, of course, is tomorrow. Or football on Sunday as the Debmarine Premiership League starts. Or horse racing on Saturday in Gobabis. Whatever tickles your fancy. Well, until then, it's goodbye from us.